Magnetic Men Club. We are back here on another Friday with you guys. Obviously, we do these every single Friday. So if there's any particular topics you guys want us to cover, please let us know. That's what we're here for. Please engage with us. Let us know if you guys have any questions. We're happy to answer them live on this call. Show up to these calls if you guys want to get your questions answered. I'm Chase. This is my good friend Jared here.
What's up, kids? Another weekend upon us. Also, to add to that, if anybody's watching this and wants to join an actual live, maybe you have some questions, maybe you want to do a live coaching, I'm more than willing to do that. Of course, you know, you're going to be out there in the world, but if you just want to join us, we can definitely set that up and do that as well. The more the merrier, you know. That's
absolutely. Get in here and engage, get these conversations going. Let's make some material that's going to help these guys for sure.
Yes, sir.
All right, so today the topic is all about, are you really living or are you just surviving? I think a lot of us in today's day and age, especially with things kind of slowing down. I mean, we've been in a lot of booming markets lately. We've had a lot of stuff really coming our way, especially with the AI boom, with the NFTs and stuff taking off. Marketing and stuff's been taking off this last couple of years. The opportunities have never been so abundant, but watching things slow down the way they have because of our government's stupid decisions and everything going on in the world today, all these freaking wars and stuff, man, it's easy to get caught up in survival mode. Like, it's easy to just think, I just got to put my head down and work. It's easy to really get caught up in the fact that like everything's going on around you and your environment kind of sucks. And it's hard to really just start living your life. So you put all that stuff on the back burner, right? You try and start doing as many side hustles as you can. You feel like if you just work harder, things will get better. And at the same time, nobody can work when they're stressed. So when you get extremely stressed because money's tight, because the economy's tight, because everything's going on in your life, it gets really hard to live it. And so that's the point that we're trying to make here too, is that when you're living in stress and when you're living in survival, you're not really living your life. And so we want to really kind of avoid that and start to control how we're feeling day in and day out, and really just believe that things are going to correct themselves, that things are going to get better so that we can live our lives. Like, why are we living? We're not living to just work all the time. We're not living to just try and pay the bills, right? We're actually living a life where we want to enjoy things, where we want to create, where we want to do more, where we want to actually get into our hobbies and get the things that we really want out of life. And that's what we're here to talk about today.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And Chase and I just had a little conversation. I was kind of joking that right now I'm in survival mode most of the, for the last probably at least the last year or so, or definitely the last probably 6 months. Just a lot of my businesses are predicated on the internet and new people coming in, and when you have an economy that isn't growing, it's sort of just there. I mean, we are in a recession. They're not saying it, but we are in a recession. That does shake everybody's confidence. They kind of hunker down, and maybe you're in this position where you just don't want to spend any extra money that you have. You want to kind of cocoon and save that. And I understand that. Believe me, I'm the first to understand that you do need to have a nest egg and all that, but I don't want your dreams to get kind of lost through the trees in that monotony of life and that minutia of life and just survive. And so I think I did a video. I don't know if it already got dropped or it's being dropped tomorrow on this topic. I think it was dropped yesterday or
it went up on Wednesday. Yep.
I talked about this idea of most people's day-to-day lives are pretty boring. I mean, we get up, we go to work, or we go to school. If you're a younger person watching this, you have responsibilities. Of course, you have bills to pay. You have chores at home. If you have kids, you have to go, all of this stuff. And that's all kind of just that boring kind of stuff in life that we all have to just do. But there's always these ideas that we have, or these dreams, or maybe we put them on hold because of our family. And the last thing I want to do personally is go to my deathbed with any regrets. And I can probably honestly say if I died today, I really don't have any regrets. I mean, I've done a lot of stupid things in my life, but I don't necessarily think I regretted not doing those or regretted not taking action on an idea or a business or something like that. And a lot of them have failed, but I don't look at it as a failure. I just look at it as, okay, it's a learning experience. It didn't work. My next venture, let's not do that. Let's do this. And I've noticed in my coaching and just talking to people, they are in survival mode, and they're really in survival mode. It seems to me, talking to them, from maybe all the way until they retire, and they get their pension. If they get one, they get maybe their 401k, and then they have a budget mode, and that's still survival. They're just in this. This is how much I have per month. And to me, that's just survival mode. You're really not living. Yeah, you might go on a vacation every once a year to the same place. You go to dinner at the same place. We just get caught in this routine of life. And then once in a while, we look ourselves in the mirror and we kind of realize most of our good days are behind us. And I just don't want that to happen to the people I coach, the people that are around me, myself included. I want to basically die with memories and broke as shit. I'm not taking it with me.
100%.
I love my kids, but they're not getting anything from me. I already told them. I was like, listen, if there's money left over, great, but that's not my job. My job's not for that. And in the video, I'm a car guy. I have a Mercedes. I like it. I kind of use that analogy of the Corvette. I love the Corvette. I think it's a sexy car, but I'll never buy one because every time I see a guy coming out of it, he's 65, most likely just retired, crawling out of the damn thing because he can't get in it because that was his dream car. And I'm of the opinion, you should have bought that car in your 30s or 40s and
right,
just enjoyed it. And now you got it out of your system. And when you're 50, 65 or 70, you don't even care about that car. You buy a practical car at that point. Why buy it then? And so I just don't want guys and girls watching this, of course, is if you have an idea, if you have something you haven't done yet, just maybe a business idea or not even that. Just, you know what? I've always wanted to go to Egypt. Go to Egypt. Go. Don't save it for someday because that's the problem. We abduct our responsibilities, our hopes, and our dreams for someday. And look at that someday may never come. In the video, I talked about the time my ex-wife, 41 years old, perfect health. Didn't smoke, didn't drink much, exercised all the time, took really good care of her, had a very rare genetic disorder, dead. Do you think she had dreams? Do you think she had hopes? Do you think she had ideas? Yes, she did a lot of them, but it was so young. And so since that day, obviously I had my kids, I raised them and all that, but I'm of the opinion now that they're a little bit older, I'm going to do whatever the hell I'm going to do, as long as it doesn't hurt people, of course, but I'm going to do what it is I'm going to do and live my life on my terms. And I invite you guys to kind of take that idea and says, listen, you could die tomorrow. The only person that knows how many days you have left is God. That's it. And so when we keep saying someday I'm going to do that business or someday I'm going to build that house or buy that car, it just might not come. You just might not have that someday, but you have today, you have now. So this is all you have. Enjoy the now. Don't enjoy what could happen someday.
I like that. See, I like the right now because I think a lot of people have a tendency to live in the past. And obviously, I mean, hindsight's 2020. You can't go back and change it. All you can do is maybe be happy with what you did and move on and just kind of live your life and moving forward, right? Yeah. Or you can regret it. I mean, that's your choice. It's not really going to get you anywhere. Yeah. And so that's the whole point. All you're going to achieve by living in the past is robbing yourself of your future. And one thing I can tell you too is out of all the businesses I've tried, I mean, I've tried a lot. I've really tried a lot, man. I've tried e-commerce. I've tried marketing. I've tried like directly like trying to like do the restaurants and like events and all that kind of stuff too. I've tried a lot of different things in business. I've tried print on demand stuff. I tried the AI stuff, man. Like, I've done so many different things, building applications, building websites, so many things in the last 10 years. Mm-hmm. And one thing I can tell you is like, I don't regret any of it. Some of it succeeded. Some of it went really well. Some of it really built a foundation for me to build the things that I'm building now. And I mean, I'm really grateful for that. But at the end of the day, not all of it really succeeded. A lot of it failed. A lot of it failed miserably. A lot of it left me in survival mode. A lot of it left me really struggling and trying to figure out exactly what I was going to do to put food on the table, right? A lot of it made me question whether I even wanted to be an entrepreneur, whether I even wanted to live on that roller coaster my whole life and watch things go up and down. And it gets exhausting. I can tell you entrepreneurship is not for everybody because it is a roller coaster, whether you like it or not. No matter how good you are, no matter how educated you are, no matter all like how many resources you have, all the people you have in your back pocket, it's going to be a roller coaster. There's going to be ups and downs, and it's going to be grueling. It's going to feel amazing when you go up, and it's going to be grueling when it goes down. And I can tell you, it gets grueling. It gets bad, man. And it's going to make you question all of your choices. It's going to make you question your whole life and whether you're even doing the right things. That's what it did to me. Yeah. But like I said, I don't regret anything I tried to do. I do regret things I didn't try to do, things that I didn't do sooner, things that I held myself back from. Because the thing is, too, is when you set goals in the future, that's the thing is like if you don't achieve that goal on time or if you don't set a date for it or you say, okay, well, you know, I'll be happy after I achieve this or I'll do this after I achieve that or once I have this foundation, I'll do that. But I'll tell you right now, when you do that, it never comes. It just never comes. And so you got to set a date to it. You got to facilitate the need to get out there and do more, to actually achieve more in your life. And so you need a purpose and you need a reason to actually get out there and do things. You need a reason to push yourself forward when things get hard.
Yeah.
And so that's the big thing is having a strong purpose and a strong why and really laying that path out for yourself and not being around people who demotivate you. Like you're probably around a lot of friends and family who don't believe in you because they never believed in themselves. They want you to fail because they failed to make themselves feel better about themselves. And at the end of the day, if you're around people like that, that's obviously going to be, it's like trying to walk around with a bowling ball around your legs, man. Like you're not going to be able to do it. Yeah. It's going to be really, really, really difficult, right? And so you got to get around the right people for one thing. That's why we even built a community around all this stuff too. Like that's what our community is all about, is being around people who really motivate you to get on the right path, to do the right things, right? And so that's a big part of it too, is being around the right people, having a strong, definite purpose and a goal, and then facilitating the need. Give yourself a date, a timeline. When exactly am I going to have this achieved? Yeah. What exactly do I need to do? What milestones do I need to check off in the meantime? Once you have a list of those kinds of things and you really have that path laid out in front of you, just check it off. That's all you got to do. Do it. Whether you feel like it or not, you just do it. You just check it off. It's just what you do. And you just believe in the process. I laid this path out in front of myself. All I got to do is get up every day and check it off. You get up in the morning, you don't feel like going to the gym, you go to the gym anyway. Right. You get up in the morning, you don't feel like going to work, you go to work anyway. It's just what you do. You just got to believe in the process. Because one thing I can tell you right now is you'll never regret just doing it. But you will regret not doing it. Right. You will regret anything you decided not to do. And the problem, too, with living in the future and trying to always dream like all the manifestation stuff and the law of attraction, I'm not saying it doesn't work, and I'm not saying it doesn't help people. Yeah. It does. But if you're always there and you're always living in the future and you're not setting your goals and your plans and you're always just kind of daydreaming, you're not going to achieve anything either. Right. You got to live for right now. You got to live for today. And if you're not living for today and you're not in the moment, you're not taking your dog out for a walk. You're not taking your kids to the park. You're not trying to go on these vacations and see these places you've always wanted to see. What are you really doing? You're just surviving. That's all you're doing. You're living your whole life in survival mode, and it's not fulfilling. And that's why it's not fulfilling, because you feel like you're always in survival mode. And I promise you, if you feel like you're in survival mode, you probably felt like that last year. You probably felt like that the year before. You probably felt like that the year before that. And I'm telling you right now, you just got to lay that plan out in front of yourself and just believe in it and start checking those things off, and things will start to improve.
Yeah. No, you said a mouthful there. And I think we did a video. It was a podcast we did. And also I did a video on that, on how people orientate themselves around the idea of success. And it's that be, do, have. And how you arrange those words and how those words resonate with you can kind of help orientate you to how you perceive success. And so a lot of people have what I call that do, have, be. When I do more, then I have more, then I'll be more. And that makes a lot of sense. When I work longer hours, then I'll have more money, then I'll be able to go on vacation, or then I'll be happy. It's all this. And the idea, and this video sort of pairs it in, is the be, do, have model. We talked about this. These are the people who are your dreamers, but they're also your doers. The Elon Musks of the world. I wouldn't say Bill Gates. Right. I got a little problem with him, but Bill, the Apple guy, whatever his name is, was
Steve Jobs.
It's they ask their question of more of who do I need to become, and as that person, what do I need to do? The have takes care of itself.
Right.
And that's how I've been really struggling lately in just the different businesses and stuff. And like you said, motivation kind of wanes on you. Like you're not motivated to do shit, but I like to think that I have tremendous discipline. I do it anyway. I need to do emails. I need to market. I need to do these things. These are the things I need to do, because what I won't accept is failure. If our business fails, it fails, but it doesn't fail because of me. I've done everything I could do and it just didn't work out. I don't view that as failure. I view it as, okay, I know next time not to do this because maybe this particular business is not for me. But if I orientate myself around that be, do, have at mindset, who do I need to become? And as that person, so I'm taking me now, who do I need to become to have these things? What does that type of person need to do in order to have it? Never worry about the have. All we need to do is, who do I need to be? What does that person need to do in order to have it? And so how does this tie into living and just surviving? The other two models is a survival mindset. Flipping this is that dreamer's mindset that, okay, I can become so much more than I am right now. I just have to expand myself out. Yeah, I may have to get some mentors. I may have to get into a good coaching program from somebody who's been there, done that. I might have to even get into some therapy. Maybe I have some old beliefs or old issues within my past that is keeping me from exploding into the future. Who knows? But what I do know is, like you said, most men's lives get worse every year. They don't get better.
100%.
And if you're not maintaining your health, if you're not going to the gym, if you're not basically tooling yourself every so often, learning a new skill, taking courses, all of these things, just relearning, like you said, AI. Now, Chase and Kim are like geniuses when it comes to anything computer. Like, Jesus, I send them something in 10 minutes, it's fixed. I'm like, what the F? But AI, I really took an interest in this, and not so much the back end of it, because that's way over my head, but what it can do for my companies and what it can do for me and how easy I can, basically it can train me and I can train it and how I talk. And so I'm learning all these different applications. I'm learning how I can integrate them in with Chase and Kim's help. But all of these things, like, I'm 48 years old, and I always felt like I don't want to just be stuck in what I used to know. I want to know more things. I don't need to be an expert in them. I just want to know enough about them so that as I learn about it, now I know the experts I can ask. Like, hey, I've been playing around with this, but something's not working. Then you're like, oh, it's this. It's learning those new skills that's going to help level you up. And again, it's part of that regret. Like, Shit, think about every industry right now. We're talking about AI, but it's very important. Every industry is going to be affected by AI, already has. And if you're not relearning that, what happens if your job completely wipes you out? We just talked about there's 3 agencies that I know one of them, and Chase knows the other 2. Their agencies got decimated by AI completely, and there's more that's going to get completely wiped out.
Yep.
They weren't forward thinking in what they're doing, and guess what? Now they have regret. They're like, shit, I should have jumped on this sooner. I should have learned about this, and they just couldn't keep up. That's also part of just having regret. Your business failed. It could have been something you could have prevented if you just kept educating yourself. I got sick. Well, it could have been something because you're overweight. Now you have type 2 diabetes. If you just lost some weight, maybe you don't need to be insulin dependent, or maybe you don't need to take pills. All of these things, as we get older, men, we get worse unless we stay the course and do everything we can possibly do to keep ourselves moving in the direction we need to go.
That's just it too. Like, you actually covered a lot there too that I actually kind of wanted to touch on too. Like, even with these agencies that just closed down, like the founders obviously made their decisions, the management in these companies made their decisions, but the employees, like, they're just subject to it. They just lost their jobs because the people above them didn't make the right choices. They had no choice in the matter. And so the thing is too, is like, we can't always control everything that's happening around us. We can't always control what exactly happens to us. It's not always our fault. And it's okay. That's not a problem. At the end of the day, like, you're really just trying to become a more leveled up person. You're trying to build a more leveled up character, a more leveled up version of yourself. If you focus on leveling yourself up, going to the gym, getting stronger, learning more, getting into the right programs, what you have to realize, and what I realized, was I was programmed a completely different way before I finally got started into entrepreneurship, before I finally started like getting into coaching and things like that too. I was programmed to think a certain way. And you know why I was programmed that way? Because of my school system, because of my government, because of my parents, because of my counselors, because of religion, all the people around me.
Yeah.
You got to understand that society is teaching you how to be mediocre.
Yeah.
They're teaching you how to be the most mediocre version of yourself because it makes you more controllable. I know that sounds like conspiracy, and it is what it is, but if you look at the school system is not trying to level you up.
No.
The school system is trying to make you a cog in the system.
Yep.
They're trying to make you compliant. Guess what happens when you're compliant? You get rewarded. When you get good grades and you do everything we told you to do, we're going to give you A's, and then we're going to reward you for that. Just like a rat in a maze, man. The rat in the maze runs to the cheese. He gets rewarded with the cheese. And then he gets pulled back again. He runs through the maze again, finds the cheese. He gets rewarded again. He keeps trying to find the cheese. And so that's exactly what society is doing to people. That's exactly what the United States government is doing to people. You have to understand that the school system is not set up to benefit you, to turn you into the person that you need to be. That's on you.
Right.
And so at the end of the day, that's exactly what you're dealing with here. If you're just a cog in the system, you're just doing what you're told just to be rewarded, then the system is winning. You're becoming more controllable. You're conforming. That's exactly what they want. Yeah. You have to rewire it. You have to completely reprogram yourself. That's exactly why coaches exist. That's exactly why we have mentors. We have people who have achieved the things that we want to achieve. And so we follow them. We follow the path that they kind of lay out in front of us because they have more experience and they're able to help us reprogram ourselves into the people that we need to be so that we can build that life around ourselves. Because the reality is, whoever you are right now, the odds are that person's not going to build that life around themselves. That person built the life you have now. And so if you really want to build a different life, you've got to become a different person. And that's easier said than done. It's a lot easier to say, I just need to be a different person than it is to become a different person, because your brain just wants to do what it's always done. It wants to think the same things it's always thought. It wants to hold on to the same beliefs it's always had without questioning them. And at the same time, doing all the same habits day in and day out over and over and over again. That's exactly what survival mode is. It's just doing the same things in a monotonous way over and over and over again, expecting different results. And that's the very definition of its insanity, right? you're going to go insane in that kind of life because you're going to expect more and you're going to want more and you're going to think that, you know, I'll do it someday. But at the end of the day, like you're going to waste years and years and years and years of your time trying to get there because you're never going to get there. And so you got to motivate yourself. You have to facilitate the need to change. And that's why having a big investment in front of one of these programs is important, because then it motivates you to say, okay, well, I need to make that investment back. I need to make sure that investment is worth it. I need to put in the time and the energy. You will never value something that's free. If we gave you this program for free, if we let you guys in for free, you wouldn't go through it. You wouldn't go through the course material. You wouldn't check anything off. You wouldn't motivate yourself to do it. You would just put it on the back burner and say, I can come back to this later. It's not that important. But if you paid $1,000 for it, if you paid $10,000 for it, if you paid $100,000 for it, the more and more money you pay for it, the more you're going to value it. But at the same time, you don't want to overpay for things either, right? You want to pay for exactly what it's worth. And so that's the whole point too, is what is it worth to you to change? What is it worth to you to build a different life? What is it worth to you to have a plan laid out in front of you and have a community around you motivating you to change? Because that's what it takes. That is what it takes to get the change. That is what it takes to really get out there and do more. I remember when I first got into these coaching programs, I wanted to change. And I would go to these calls and I would say, hey, I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to make $100,000 a month. Yeah. And so they would look at me and go, okay, you want to make $100K a month? Well, you're going to have to go reach out to 300 people a day. You're going to have to go and send all these cold messages. You're going to have to get these ads up and rolling. If you don't do that, you're not going to make it.
Right.
And I had to become a different person to really accept that and say, okay, well, that's going to make me really uncomfortable. The problem is people just want to be comfortable. They'll do everything to make sure they stay comfortable. That's why they do the same things over and over and over again, because it's comfortable. As soon as you try to change it, your brain just signals, no, this is painful. I don't want to do this. I just want to go be comfortable again. And the thing is, too, is you might get over that for a day. You might go to the gym today. Are you going to do it again tomorrow?
Right.
You're going to do it again the next day. You're going to wake up the next day and say, okay, well, my arms are aching. I'm just going to take today off. I worked really hard yesterday. It's okay. Yeah. You talk yourself out of it. That's where accountability comes in. You will always talk yourself out of it. You will always win that battle. But when you have a coach behind you saying, hey, dude, what's up? I didn't see you check it off today. What's going on? Well, now you have somebody else there that you're beholden to and say, okay, well, yeah, dude, I'll get that done. I know. Because you know what you need to do. I don't need to tell you that you need to go get in shape. You know you need to get in shape. I don't need to tell you that you need to eat better. You know you need to eat better. I don't need to tell you that you need to learn more. You know you need to learn more. And so that's the reality. We all know what we need to do. It's just that we don't do it because we're always talking ourselves out of it. We spend years in these cycles. Yeah. And that's the point of programs like this. That's the point of any program. You want to get into a business program, learn entrepreneurship. You want to get into agency programs. You want to really try and better yourself, get into a fitness program to really get on top of things. That's what it takes, because these guys provide accountability and they provide you the plan that you need. And if you follow it long enough and you're able to push through it, you reprogram yourself into a whole different person. You completely level yourself up to a point where you can build a better life around yourself. Because the thing is, if you tried to build a better life without changing the person, it doesn't work. Have you seen how many people out there have won the lottery and then within 2 to 3 years, they're completely broke?
Right.
Because they kept living the same life. They didn't change anything about themselves. And so they just kept doing the same things. In reality, you've got to become a different person who's used to living a different life, and then the life will follow you. Mm-hmm. The things that you need and the people that you need in your life will follow you just because you became a better person. You don't need to focus on building a better life for yourself and for your family. You just need to focus on building a better you, because a better you will build that life automatically.
Yeah. No, perfectly said. I'll add to that too, because it's the lotto winners and even your basketball stars, football stars, most of them are broke soon after they leave, the NBA, the NFL and all those. Very few, you had the Michael Jordans, and they actually were smart and they reinvested their money and they got Nike. Basically, he not invented it, but he put them on the map. But same kind of logic in our own lives is that we do have. Michael Jordan, who do I need to become? And as that person, what do I need to do? The Have took care of himself. He needed to become the best NBA basketball player who's ever lived. That was his thought. That's who I need to become. What do I need to do? I need to do practices 3 times a day when everyone else is doing 1 a day. I need to go to the gym twice a day when everyone else is going once a day. I need to stay in my hotel room and watch my competition's tape reel while everyone else is living it up, living the high life, drinking, and then they have another game in 2 days. Now they're dehydrated. These are the things that he needed to do. Kobe Bryant in his book, same thing. That's what leveled him up.
Mamba mentality.
That you have to just basically dominate every aspect of your life. And is it easy? No. Do you think he wanted to go out and party with his buddies? Yes. Do you think Kobe Bryant had a thought of giving up? He's like, you know what? At this level, everybody's talented. Talent doesn't mean shit at that level. Everybody's talented. Now it's the work. Now it's that work. And you have to apply that same thought mentality in your life. Sometimes, we talked about this, you and I, we really don't have a good work-life balance. And I don't really think anybody who's on the road to success or who's trying to get on the road to success, you can't have both. You can't. You have to go out, people want that. People want, I want to hustle, I want to grind, but I want to be home by 5. It doesn't work that way. Right now it's 5:30 my time. We have about 2 more hours after this that we talk, and I have some other work I need to do. I've been up since 6. I just have things that I need to do, but I love it. And that's the other question you really want to ask yourself, because we're not ramming down this idea that if you're mediocre in life, if you're fine with being average, if you're fine with your life the way it is, that's fine. Just don't expect other people to be wowed by it. That's the key takeaway. A lot of people are average, but it doesn't take that much more in today's society to become above average. It really doesn't, because everybody's just very mediocre. Everybody's just very, they never want to put their head up. They just want those worker bees. If you just are willing to take a little bit of crap, a little bit of, my YouTube videos, some people say, oh, good thing with a guy with a throat tattoo, blah, blah, blah. I don't give a shit. I wanted to create a YouTube channel put out my thoughts, whether those thoughts are good or bad or whatever. I don't care. I'm doing the things that I want to do. And Chase and Kim are the same way. We're developing this company around our own ideas and how we see fit that company's going to go. And we don't apologize for it. I'm not apologizing for my life. I'm not apologizing for the things I'm doing in my life. And that's another way you can probably think about it. If you feel like you have to apologize for some of the things you're doing in your life or not doing, and you're starting to feel like, is this it? Is this all life is? You're living that mediocrity. That's what your brain's telling you. Your brain's telling you, even though it's going to fight you, your soul, everything about you wants much more. And your brain will start thinking about it, but then when the hard work comes in, that's when your brain starts kicking your own ass and starts telling you, like you said, it's going to fight you. There's days, guys, I want to freaking close up all my companies and move to Cabo and go become a fisherman. I've thought about it. I'm like, you know what? I could make a couple $100 a month. I don't have to live on nothing. As a guy, I'm fine with a cot and not even a TV. I don't even care. I can live very simply. I don't care. But I choose not to, because I have a duty to my family. I have a duty to my partners. I have a duty to my other companies. I have a duty for me to succeed. But it'd be very easy for me to burn down Rome and just go someplace. Very easy.
Absolutely.
So, most of you guys don't have that. Most of the people watching this are a little bit younger. They have a family. They have a wife. They have all of these things. They have responsibilities. So now it becomes your duty to be the best version of yourself. And it's also your duty to take care of you first. So if there are some thoughts that you have, like there's got to be more to life, and you're kind of in this, almost this funk, this stuck mentality, like this is it. All it is you got to really just kind of hone in and see what passions, see what kind of the things that Maybe you've been pushing on the back burner. Maybe there isn't anything on the back burner, and that's your problem. Maybe it's like, I need to figure out what it is I want to do. Maybe I want to learn to play the freaking guitar. Okay, go learn it. These are all the things as you get older and you keep pushing it back and it just doesn't happen. And when you're 60, 70, 80, you look back at your life like, I could have learned to play the guitar. I don't know why I keep pushing it off. It could be something as stupid as that. Who knows? I just don't want, for me anyway, I mean, I live through myself. I just don't, but on my deathbed, I don't want to tell my kids or whoever's around, say, I really wish I did these things. I really regret this. I want to be like, cool, what are we doing? Am I going to heaven? I'm going to hell? What's going on? We'll figure it out. That's kind of the way I just want to leave this earth, because at the end of the day, I don't care how much money you have. Look at Steve Jobs. He's a billionaire. At the end of the day, all his chips went right back into the table. He can't take it with him.
Exactly.
Now, he have it, but that's not how you should think. You should think about you. All your chips go back into the game and you're done. You're done. And so if you can really think about that and actually understand that I am going to die someday, what am I going to do today? What's today? Not someday. What's going on today? How can I improve my life today so that maybe that someday is in 30 years? Maybe that someday is when you're 100 years old. You don't know. But when you're 35 and something is off in your life, there's a job that maybe you want to ask your boss for a raise, or there's a new position you want to ask your boss for and you're afraid to, or there's a new company you want to start. And you say someday, and you keep saying someday year over year over year, bet your ass you're going to be 70 years old and wish. At worst, what's going to happen
Exactly.
too, somebody's going to have that same idea and they're going to be multi-billionaires, and you're going to be like, I had that thought 20 years ago. You didn't do anything about it.
It happens more often than you think, too.
It does. It does. How many people have the thought of Facebook? Maybe not the way Zuckerberg had the thought, but how many people says there should be something that we can, MySpace, you had that, and then he expanded on that basically. But again, he had the be, do, have mindset. If we can adopt that mindset, who do I need to become as that person? What do I need to do? What are those things I need to do? The have takes care of itself. If we can develop that mindset, and actually do it, I bet you more people would have healthier, happier lives.
Well, and that's the thing too, is like, you don't need to get there right now.
Right.
I mean, we want to. I mean, obviously we want to collapse the time as much as we can. I can tell you right now, you're going to have to invest if you want to collapse time. Yeah. That's reality. You either put in time or you put in money. It's your choice. You can put in years and years and years of time trying to figure it out, and you probably will. But like I said, it's not going to collapse time for you. You're going to have to figure everything out on your own. You're going to have to fail in your own way. You're going to figure out what works and what doesn't work. Mm-hmm. See, what I understood too from Alex Hormozi and from like David Goggins and all those guys is it's okay to be on balance for a little while. It's okay to work in seasons. It's okay to have a season of relaxation where you're just kind of enjoying the fruits of your labor, but it's also okay to work more hours than you need to. It's okay to work 12 hours a day, 6-7 days a week if you have to, if you really want to collapse that time as much as possible and really get yourself into a position where you're in control. Yeah. And so that's the thing too, is really 5 years of hard work can eliminate 50 years of struggling. And so that's the point too, is understanding the harder you work right now and the more you're okay with being in that season of unbalance, that's where things really start to change for you. That's where things really, really start to be different. If you keep doing the same things every single day, you keep living the same way and you keep putting it off, your life is not going to change.
Right.
It just isn't. And so that's the point, is either you can put the time in and you can learn what you need to do and you can really try and skill yourself up and level yourself up in that way. And it'll probably take years. Yep. I know this because I got started in entrepreneurship 10 years ago. I got started back in 2011 with my stepdad's company. And it took me a long time to figure it out. I remember in 2014, I tried to start my own company. I tried to start building websites and building WordPress themes and things like that. and I just didn't know how to get clients. And so it just didn't really take off. And so I went and got a job at the IRS, and I worked at the IRS for a couple of years, and I got back into ads and started doing advertising, and that stuff started to work out because the difference is I went and really saved my money at the IRS. I saved up as much money as I could so that I could just simply quit and focus on entrepreneurship. And that's exactly what I did. I worked there for 2 years, plugged away for 2 years, got it out of the way, saved my money. And then I decided to start a marketing agency. When I first got started, I got a coach. I went and got a coach, and it made all the difference. There were so many things I just didn't know that just didn't occur to me in building a successful business and building systems for a business and automating the business and building value into a business. Because you got to understand it. A business without systems is not valuable.
Right.
And so if you really want to build value into your business, if you want to build value into yourself, you need to invest in yourself.
Yeah.
And you need to build some systems around yourself that are going to allow you to get there. The system is what makes all the difference. So like I said, when you tell yourself that you need to go to the gym at 5 a.m., when you tell yourself that you're going to get up and go for a hike, when you tell yourself that you're going to start going for a walk on the beach every day, you're going to go to the park with your dog every single day, I don't care how you feel. You wake up in the morning and you do it. You will never regret just doing it. Yep. You will regret not doing it. I promise you, if you put that path in front of yourself and you get off track, you will. Just expect it. It's going to happen. It happens to everyone because your brain just wants to do what it's always done. And that's where accountability comes in. You've really just got to be okay with setting that path in front of yourself and then having the discipline to really check that stuff off, level yourself up, and build that life around yourself. Collapsing the time. If you want to collapse time, you need information because you just don't know what you don't know, and you can't know. It's frustrating to be in that situation. Trust me, I know. I've been there. When I first got started, I had no idea what to do. I had no idea where to get started. I had no idea where to look. I had no idea if somebody was trying to scam me or not, or if I was trying to get into a coaching program that was trying to scam me or anything. And I did. I got into a couple that really did just take my money and run. It happens. And so it's all part of the path. It's all part of the progress. But once you figure it out, you'll think, oh, God, why didn't I do this sooner? Why wasn't this easier before? And it's like, I just didn't have the information. I just didn't know it. Yeah. And I couldn't know it because I just didn't know it. You don't know what you don't know, and you can't know what you don't know until you get there. And so that's the point, is that's why you want to have a mentor. That's why you want to have coaches and stuff too, to really, for one, hold you accountable, keep you accountable, and ask you if you did it, why you didn't do it, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. There's that, but then also giving you the information so you can set the proper path in front of yourself. Because the thing is, doing the wrong things will get you farther away from your goal than doing the right things. But doing anything is better than doing nothing at all. If you do nothing at all, nothing will change. You'll continue to stay in that same situation for years on end. And that's what happens. And so that's the point, is if you really want to collapse that time and you really want your life to get better and you really want things to improve, well, you got to start doing something different. If you keep doing the same things, you just keep getting the same results.
Yep. Yeah. It was about 2 years ago. I'll talk about scamming for coaches and stuff. I was doing more consulting back then, not coaching, if you will. But I hired a coach. This was a female coach. And I kind of wanted a different perspective, so I hired a female coach. Now, she came recommended from some people I knew. She cost me $25,000. $25,000 to coach. And it was the most horrible experience I've ever had. I started learning, but I didn't take it as a failure. And I'm only saying this because there are people that talk a big game. They have a really good mouthpiece on them. And once they get their money, then it's pretty much, that's the end of it. And you're kind of just going through the motions. And this is what it was like with her. And it was painful. Every single coaching thing I didn't want to do, but I had to do it because I said, I put money into this thing. I gotta freaking go. Anyway, I got through the program and she wanted a critique, and I says, okay, listen, the entire time we were one-on-one, when I coach, I rarely talk. I ask questions. I dig. I peel that onion back. You're like a typical woman. You just vomited out for an hour straight and I didn't talk. That's not coaching. I don't know what you did, but you took 25 grand of my money. So there are some people out there that port as themselves as a coach, but you really want to dig a little bit deeper and figure out, is that coach right for you? I made the mistake. I was in a certain position. I was in a certain negative position at that time, and I thought that that's what I needed. Fast forward, I just spent $1,200 on an email coach. You know Dan. Remember Dan?
Yeah.
We did 3 phone calls, and he helped me kind of do my emails. So $1,200. I was like, all right, well, it's a little steep for 3 phone calls, but whatever. That produced me so far, because now we're emailing more, that produced me about $7,000 in leads I've had months, even a year ago, has come back. So you have to pay to play on everything. Sometimes you pay and it doesn't work. Other times you pay, you take on faith, you listen to their advice, you implement their advice, and boom, things start working. If I just thought I could do it on my own, I'd be in the exact same position I am now. I wouldn't have those tools. And so you want to be able to be in a position where, Chase and Jared, they're just trying to sell a program. Well, fucking A, right, we're trying to sell a program because we're not doing this for free, but we're also trying to get you to collapse that time. I do a lot of coaching with men going through a divorce and bad breakups. And the reason why I do that is I actually can save men in a divorce money, because what happens is in a divorce, their emotions are all over the place, and they may do or say something that is going to be used against them by attorneys and these judges, and it's going to cost them thousands of dollars. They get in front of me and we start working on their emotions and get that crap out of there and work on logic. They actually save money on really the ass kicking they're going to get anyway. Just save them some money on that. So we went off a little bit of tangent, but that is still kind of living and not just surviving. In that divorce scenario, you're just surviving. If you paid a coach to kind of help you navigate through that, you're actually flipping that to living. You're not just trying to figure this out on your own. You're paying somebody to say, okay, you don't say this to her. This is not what we're going to do. You don't want to do that. And we hold each other accountable. Believe me, I've helped many men save thousands of dollars. Even a couple of them saved their marriage. I didn't really think they should have, but they did. And so that's also part of just living or surviving. You got to take it on faith sometimes and pay to play. You have to get mentors. You have to get some people and put up some of your money and then take the advice and do it. That's another thing that just shocks me. People pay for subscriptions they never use. They buy a book and they put it on the shelf. They buy a video course and they never implement it, and they say it didn't work. How the F do you think it doesn't work? The information in that book doesn't just suck into your brain. You have to read it. You have to take notes. You have to implement it. I don't understand when people say, coaching doesn't work. Did you do the work? No.
Yep.
Okay. How many people that buy a program and and never open it up? Because we know click rates. So we see, do they even open it up? No. Well,
I can tell you right now, everything I've ever released for free, it never went anywhere. Nothing ever happened. They never even dug into it. They never read into it. They never did anything with it. And so that was the big thing for me, is understanding that free, people don't value free. They just don't. They don't want anything for free. They won't do anything with it. No. And so here's the thing is, you're going to have a path laid out in front of you. And can you honestly tell yourself that you really tried? Because, man, I've been through so many courses. I've been through so many different podcasts, learned so many different things. But I can tell you right now, if I don't apply it, if I don't take it and do something with it and implement it and learn from it, I get nothing from it. It's just going to fade into the back of my mind, and it'll be back there with all the other crap that's back there, and it's never going to come to the surface again until I encounter something that brings it back to the forefront of my mind again. Right. And I did nothing with it. I didn't learn anything from it. I didn't do anything with it. I didn't level up because of it. And so the reality is you have to actually apply information. If you don't apply information, then you're just going to be average, just like everybody else. You're not actually going to learn anything. I've seen so many people invest. Like my stepdad actually runs a company where he teaches agencies how to be agencies, right?
Right.
I've seen some of these guys spend $70,000 on his programs over the last 10 years, and they're still not doing anything. They still haven't even started. They just bought every single program. It was like a sunk cost fallacy kind of thing. And it's like, I just don't want to miss out, and I just want to have it. People will pay for Netflix every month and not use it because, they already have HBO and they already have Hulu. And so they're paying for all these other things. Well, they got to have access to everything. And so that's just what happens, man. Like everything is marketing. Everything is just trying to get you to buy in deeper. But is it really leveling you up as a person? Is it really teaching you who you need to be? Because if it isn't, and if they're not really listening to you, just like you had the coach who just simply spoke at you and didn't listen to you and didn't even try to, like, I've had a lot of coaches like that too, where they're just like, just do this. And it's like, okay, well, maybe that works. And at the same time, you got to be careful with that kind of a mindset too, because some things work. They just do. And so that's the thing. I can tell you right now, reaching out to 300 people a day will get you business. It just will. Just most people don't want to do that. Most people don't want to sit there and face that rejection day in and day out because it's uncomfortable. It is. You're going to jump into somebody's inbox. Hey, what's going on? How you doing? How's business? What do you need help with? What are you struggling with? That kind of stuff. Nobody wants to do that because it's annoying. I get annoyed by it. And I have to understand that, like, if I'm reaching out to 300 people that way, they're going to be annoyed by it. But it's what's necessary when you're first getting started because you need money. You need fuel to grow. You actually need something to invest. And once you have that money to invest, you start up your Facebook ads. And then people start opting in. You start your Google ads and more people opt in. And you start getting your emails out there and more people opt in. That's what we're starting here. That's business in a nutshell. And we teach this stuff in our program too, because at the same time, we're trying to create a movement here. And the reason why is I remember reading a lot of these books back in the day. I read Iron John, and from Iron John, I realized, okay, men need to be initiated. Men actually need to be initiated by other men. Like that's actually something that we've lost as a society over the last couple hundred years, especially with things getting easier and easier and easier and easier. It's just creating weak men. It's creating a whole bunch of men who dress like women, who act like women, who are weak, who are feminine. And at the same time, it doesn't turn on women. So women have to step up into their masculine and they're trying to be more like men in society. And it's creating a whole bunch of dysfunction. And that's why the U.S. is where it is. Like the U.S. is on the verge of collapse in this regard because men are just getting weaker and weaker and weaker. And they're not even trying to be stronger. They're not trying to take ownership. A lot of men are set free when they realize that they're not special, that there's nothing special about them. There's nothing special about anybody. Right. There's just people who level themselves up and live the life that they want to live and people who don't. And you don't want to be one of the men who doesn't. And the best way to get over that is to have a group of men around you who can push you forward, move you forward, who have the experience, who can initiate you into manhood. That's what I got from Iron John. Yeah. Then there was No More Mr. Nice Guy. I remember reading that one too and realizing, man, I've been way too nice to people. Yeah. I've just been a pushover, and I just turned myself into a pushover, and I just accepted everything that came my way, just like a freaking dead fish on the ground, man. Like I just accepted everything. I just rolled over and okay, I'll just take my beatings, and I'll just go back to work the next day. And it's just you start living your life that way. And I remember reading Unplugged Alpha, and it was kind of the same thing. Then you get into the red pill aspect of everything, and you move back and like, okay, we need to balance all this stuff out. It's like there's just so much information out there, but you got to realize men in today's age are getting weaker. They're not stepping up. They don't want to be uncomfortable. They don't want to stand up for themselves because they've been taught their whole lives how to be mediocre, that they've got to respect women in this. I'm not saying you shouldn't respect women. All I'm saying is that they tell you that women should be equal and all this kind of stuff too, but we all have our roles and we all have a role to play in order to create the life that we really want to live and in order to feel fulfilled and happy. Because most people out there today, a lot of these feminist women and stuff, they're not happy. They're always miserable. Every time I see them, the men who are weak, who are just kind of put in their place, who are just rolling over, they're pushovers, they're not happy either. And that's reality. Like most of society is turning into this. Like that's why we need this kind of a program. And I want to put more coaches out there using this program who can teach this stuff so that we can start to shift society in our own way. stop being a conformist. That's the biggest thing. Stop just laying over and accepting what comes your way, and go and create the person that you really want to be, so you can build that life for yourself. And not only that, amplify that stuff for other people so you can collapse time for them too.
Yeah. I don't know how to say your name. I'm sorry. I'm going to say it's Singhai. Anyway, yeah, great feedback on the gym membership thing. This is how gyms actually make their money. They hope you don't come. It's the people who don't come
100%.
really makes their money. Think about Planet Fitness, $10 a month. They need like $3,000. I think it's 3,000 members per unit, and they're making a tremendous amount of money. But only like, I want to say like 10% of those members actually use the gym. The rest, $10 a month is easy. They're like, oh, they even forget that it's on their credit card. That's marketing 101. These are the people who honestly have that be, do, have mindset. Who do I need to be? Like, what do I need to market? How do I make this easy for somebody to get into the gym? Those people are living. The people who own those companies are the ones that are living, because they're sort of just selling you a dream. And guess what? You're not doing the work. You have the $10 membership, but you're not even going. You just feel good. Oh, I have a gym membership, but you're not going. That's surviving. You're not living. You're just pissing your money away. It's the same thing with coaching. It's the same thing with all these. You have to pay to play, but you actually have to use the tools that this person's giving you. In this case, a gym. They're giving you the tools. Here's the barbell. Here's the machines. Go use it. Oh, that's too hard. That's for other people. I'm just paying the $10 a month, and somehow through sleep, I'm going to have an amazing body. Doesn't work that way.
Well, we talk ourselves into feeling better about our inadequacy. Like, we talk ourselves into feeling better about not doing things. We sit there and try and validate it for ourselves. We try and get validation from other people. A lot of these weak men, that's all they need. All they need is validation for being who they are, for being mediocre, for being average. And at the end of the day, it's not going to cut it, man. Like, you're just going to be average, and you're always going to be average, and you might feel better about it for a second, but you don't really feel better about it. So here's the thing. You have the gym membership, but every single time that thing comes out of your bank account, you're going to be like, oh, I really should have gone to the gym last month. I really need to go this next month. I need to make it worth it. And then you don't go.
Right.
And you're mad about it by the end of that month too. And it's like, this stuff goes on and on and on and on. And they'll take your money. They'll take your money all day, every day. Sure. And so that's the thing, is you really need a brotherhood of men around you. Just like Singy said here, you need a brotherhood of men around you. That's the key to everything. You need men around you to keep you accountable. You need men around you to initiate you into that brotherhood and to accept you and to tell you, okay, well, dude, this is what you're going to do. This is what works. This is what doesn't work. This is why you're not getting the results you are. And it's on you to implement. It's always going to be on you to implement. We can't do the work for you. And nobody can do the work for you. The gym can't do the work for you. The gym can't just automatically snap their fingers and like, oh, you're fit now. It's like, there's still work ahead of you, right? And you have to accept that. You have to accept that everything you want in the world is on the other side of discomfort. And so you got to reframe what discomfort means to you. You got to reframe what discomfort is. Discomfort is growth. If you're comfortable, you're not growing. You're not doing anything. I'm not saying you should never be comfortable. By all means, go take a month-long trip to Cabo. Go take a month-long trip to Hawaii. Relax. Go sip your favorite drink on the beach. But make sure it's worth it, because I promise you, if you get to do that and you haven't worked for it, it's not going to be worth it. You're not going to feel like it was worth it. And so that's the point, is if you really want to feel like it's worth it, man, get out there and work. Level yourself up. Go look at yourself in the mirror and be like, dude, I freaking worked hard for this body, man. I worked hard to get in shape. I worked hard for this energy. I worked hard to make that $100,000 a month. It wasn't given to me. I wasn't lucky. Nobody is.
Accountability does. That's you're dead on, brother. You got to hold yourself accountable. But yeah, man, I think this is a good ending point on this idea of, you maybe even ask yourself right now, am I just living, or am I surviving? Am I doing the things that I want to do in this world? Am I contributing to this world? Am I doing anything meaningful, or am I just surviving? And, sadly, when I die, we all die. It's about a generation. That's it. Nobody knows who you are anymore. So you have nothing to lose. You really have nothing to lose. So go out and become and make mistakes and do things bad. Just do them. You'll get better. You know, when I started doing the YouTube videos, you know, largely they suck. They still suck, but they're getting better. I know it. You know, I mean, I don't care. They're getting better. So that's how I view stuff. It's just got to do it. I know it's going to suck. It's going to be horrible in the beginning, but you do it, you get better, you retool, and then you become proficient. Once you become proficient, you become an expert at it. That's how life works. With that, that's all I got on this, brother. What about you?
Yeah. I mean, that's all it is, man. It's all about becoming the person that you need to be, leveling yourself up. You don't need to focus on anyone else in the system. You don't need to focus on anything else. You don't need to focus on correcting the environment. Just fix yourself. Just focus on you. Level yourself up. Level yourself up mentally. Level yourself up physically. Level yourself up skill-wise. Level up your beliefs. And become the person that you need to be so that you can build that life worth living around you and that legacy worth leaving. Yep. And with that, that's all I have for today.
I hope you guys have an amazing weekend and, you know, start implementing this stuff. Exactly. That you want to do. Start thinking about it this weekend and maybe come up with an action plan. If you need help with this, go to our website. We'll put the links down below. We can book a call and kind of help you with this. So with that,
fill out that contact form for sure. We're here for you guys. If you guys have any topics that you want us to cover, we really appreciate the engagement here from you, Singy. Like I said, if there's anything you guys want us to cover, please comment below. If you're watching this on the replay, please comment below. Let us know if there's any topics you want us to cover. Let us know exactly. Show up to these calls and engage with us. We're happy to talk with you guys, engage with you guys, and have these conversations because you never know who you're helping with this. You never know who you're helping with your engagement too. You never know who might actually take something away from what you're saying here, right? Because these conversations are valuable and we just aren't having enough of them. And so that's what these Friday calls are all about. So we really appreciate you guys being here and we'll see you guys again next week.
Take care, guys.